Hey guys, it's Dan back on Custom Laser Engraving. So I just wanted to give I'm gonna set that little wand down there. Just wanted to give my air compressor a chance to cut off. Had customers here, done a few things, come back. I broke the laser out, my Sensing laser 1000-watt fiber. Finally got the bottom chassis completely off, and everything's kind of roughed down with a Scotch-Brite pad. But now I'm going to this is just some really old thinner that I've had, and I'm just going to take this thinner and get this piece of old t-shirt material here wet with it, and I'm just going to wipe it all down. I'm taking the dust off of it because I'm going to try to get a primer coat put on this. And so what I want to do here is give it this little bit of a thinner wipe down, paint thinner wipe down, just to make sure I've got no dust on it. Just give it a little clean up coat here before I throw down a primer on it. Keep in mind, guys, I am not a paint and body man. I am just a guy working out of my shop trying to make cool stuff. So I'm not telling you what I'm doing is exactly right, but it can't be really exactly wrong either. So everybody's got their own way of doing things, and this is one of those that I just do it my way, period. I don't really care too much about how other people do things. I do watch and learn as much as I can, but I know a lot of guys, and I've been in the hot rod and motorcycle world for most of my life, and while I'm not one to do my own paint and body, I do know a couple of things, a couple of tricks. I know wiping this down is going to take the dust off of it. Some people use alcohol and they give them an alcohol bath, which, you know, you can do that too. I just happen to have some thinner that I've had around from years ago, and so I'm going to use it. Just try to clean this thing up the best I can. This thinner dries pretty much as you're rubbing it on here. It's pretty well drying right behind me, but it gives me an opportunity to get the biggest part of the dust off of this and make it what I want prior to putting primer on it. So once I get all this wiped down and I let it dry real good, which is literally minutes, I'm going to use a Rust-Oleum spray can primer. And the paint that I bought it at O'Reilly's here in Columbia. Business Loop O'Reilly store here in Columbia, Missouri has a really good paint department down there. They do a lot of good work in a lot of the body shops and people that I know. That's where they buy their paint, is from O'Reilly's. So just kind of flowing right along here. So what I'm just doing here is folding this thing around, making sure I hit all the areas that I'm going to lay primer and paint to, because sometimes it's not about just the outside of what you can see. Sometimes it's the hidden details that people don't see and don't look at that make all the difference in the world in the quality of your product. And while this is a completely new thing for me, restoring this pedal car, it's along the same lines of the laser engraving and stuff that I do, because, you know, paint, primer, doing signs, doing this, that, and the other, this is all kind of the same. You're just working with metal versus working with wood or acrylic or whatever it is that you're making your signs out of. And so I just want to wipe all this down. Of course, I've got really big hands, so I have to try to get my hands into some of these little areas not quite working out the greatest, but we do the best we can, working with what we have to work with. And I did have to cut that one stubborn bolt that I just couldn't quite get to. I ended up having to cut it off with a Dremel and a cutoff wheel. And just trying to do, like I said, the best I can, but I cut that one off. I did see, and I'm going to give a shout out here because I did find wheels and tires, a complete kit of 4, at what I thought was a good price, and it's not what my customer said. She wasn't really concerned so much about the wheels and it being functional as it's going to be a display piece more than anything, because this was her son's, and it was apparently a little on the rough side when they got it when he was a child. But I'm going to give her the extra, and I'm going to cut into my profits, which, you know what, to me that's just how I do things, but I'm going to cut into my profits, and I went ahead and ordered a brand new set of wheels and tires for this, and we're going to reuse the center caps. So I opted not to spend the extra on new center caps because I'm going to paint those center caps to match the body, so they're going to really pop against the white wheels that are going to be on here, because the wheels will already be powder coated. And I think I'm ready to start laying some primer on this. But we've also still got the original center caps. We're going to reuse these. And in the process of reusing the original centers, we're going to finish cleaning these things up. I'm just going to take a little wire brush to them here, knock some of this loose stuff off to prime them as I primer the body. And that way, whenever I go to lay paint, I can paint these center caps, make them look really nice, and put them back on. And now these got quite a bit of rust on the inside, so I might actually just take those and still yet, while I've got the laser pulled out and plugged in, I may just go ahead and hook the air back up on it and hit the insides of these, because wire brush is only going to take so much of this. And that way I can prime and paint these inside and out. And that way it's just going to help to protect them. So these are probably going to get laid upside down. Get the back sides cleaned up, and I'm going to paint these and make them look nice to match the body. White wheels, body matched hubcaps. I'm thinking like a hot rodder on this. I'm also trying to think, well, if I was doing this for my child, who would love it, how would I do it? And so that's what I'm doing. I am literally just kind of hooking this thing up. This is kind of irrelevant at this point, but I've already got thinner on this rag, so I'm just going to go ahead and give them just a quick wipe down, knock some of the dust off of them, and then I'm going to go ahead and strip the back sides of these, try to clean the rust off of them, and go from there, especially while I'm waiting on customers to come out, because I've got customers coming out at some point today. So everything happens in stages. You do one thing, do another, whatever. For what I'm doing, I should have more than enough air in there. Starter up turned on. And I'm not going to drag all of this cord out. I'm just going to get this pulled down to where I need it. And I know some of y'all probably think I'm crazy, but I'm moving my paint thinner. clean up right now. Not my goal. Not what I'm wanting to do. Let me just set this down. All right, you ready? Definitely the easiest way to clean the inside of these. I've got this at like 35% power, so not a lot of power. I'm literally just cleaning some rust out of the inside of this. And this way, whenever I clean these up and paint them, we won't have rust under there building up and continuing to cause us issues later down the road. Definitely makes it worth it having one of these machines to do this kind of project. So you'll definitely end up with a lot better result at the end of it. There it is. So now I got the rust cleaned off of those, and it's just going to make this a whole lot better when we're done. Go ahead and shut the machine back off. And I'm going to leave all this kind of out and hooked up just so I can have it available if I need it. Go ahead and put some regular gloves on because these are going to be a little on the warm side. And what I want to do is just kind of clean the insides up a little bit here. The gloves will actually, because those things are hot as fire, but my gloves keep me from burning my hands, so these are just a little on the warm side. Blow them off with the air compressor, get the dust out of them, wipe them down one more time with that thinner on the inside, and get ready to prime and paint these. So, just like that, get that stuff knocked down. My air compressor is more than likely going to kick on here in just a second, so. So stay tuned, we'll come back here in a little bit. It's time to go take a break and eat some lunch. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'll be back shortly.